So we started?
Yes.
Okay, alright. Hi everyone, welcome to today's live session of Life Melody. My name is Delicious, and with me I have Papa J, Musa, to my left we have Zainab, Eduardo, and William. And today we're going to talk briefly about mental slavery and the decolonization of the mind, the African mind more specifically. And just to start off, I thought that we're going to talk about or define what mental slavery is to us, and also what it means for us to decolonize the mind. So, Musa, do you want to start?
I can give it to Papa J.
No, you probably start.
You being the founder of it all,
Exactly.
you're the father.
I don't like that.
Have we started?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have started.
We have started.
Yeah, of course. Well,
Greetings everyone present here, and greetings to the viewers. It's a pleasure and an honor for us as Africans to try to sensitize each other of our past, our present, and our future. And I believe that can only have its effect on us when we communicate and talk to each other by seeing what has been to where we are and where we're heading. The subject and the topic of today being the colonization of the mind, or the decolonization of the mind. I believe the African mind has been through tremendous trauma from not only the time of slavery, but these we can take as far back as into Egyptology, and even before Egyptology, the era of the Arab coming into Africa. Through the colonization, I believe, with the religions that has been imposed on the African, which has its elements actually from the African belief system itself. From there, I believe, before even the aggression is the foreign domination into Africa. That's where I believe the mind has been colonized first, that is, us leaving our culture, our cultures, our traditions, our norms and values, and then foreign invasions that has divided us as Africans and ruled us, and not only ruling us but also inflicting us with their different cultures and traditions through the means of religion. I will stop at that. My greetings to everyone.
First of all, I want to start to thank you, all of you, as Papa J, Delicious, and we have Zainab here, we have Mr. Edward, and we have William. We used to call him also G-Town.
Reda.
Yeah. So I'm me as a Musa Bangura, how you can call also philosopher Moses. But I'm very grateful to have you people here, because this is what we are talking about. We talking about we Africans to be able to unite. And we have been discussing about this United Nations for decades of years, but still we are struggling because we can never give up. We have to continue because that's the only way for us to be independent and is to unite. And because that also which can make us as we are, as we Africans. And that also can make us as we Africans to be proud of ourselves. When we unite, then of course we know who we are. Because that also can make us to be strong too, of course, as anybody knows. So, and that's why we are here. Like the way now we are sitting here, this is a family. It's like a family, and this is what we need. We have to be like one as a family. We have to see each other, we Africans, as brothers, as sisters, mothers and fathers. It doesn't matter where we meet, whether in abroad, especially in our home, we know our culture. That is togetherness. And even now also, if we travel, we go even to Europe like we are here now. It's a bad land, but we have to know that. But we appreciate too, because we are in bad land and we are struggling still to survive. We don't have nothing against bad land, but you know, like for African sometimes to survive in bad land is not easy. You have to travel. But because of we have another problem of this, we talk about the United Nations, that of the black. That problem we have, that's why sometimes it's more difficult for us to survive in bad land. So that's why we are here to discuss, because we Africans, we find out that to make us to unite is that we have to understand, as we say, the mental colonization. That mental, that is to understand. When we have that understanding, that can help us also to unite, because it's the mental colonization that's making us that's make us separated. We have been separated because of also the slave master always know that, you know, to colonize a person you have to have overpower that person. So, and that power we have been losing through because of the mindset. So, and I believe, of course, that's why we are here to discuss. We have to try and to change our mindset, so that we can see, you know, the direction, the way that how we can unite, because of the mental that make that we understood that we have to unite, but we have to have the capacity of this mental, that to how we can unite, and this is a part of it. This is it, mean unite. You see, all of we together here. And this is the only way can help us, whether in Africa, whether here. Because even in Africa, we have been divided by continent. After continent, we have been divided also by group. We have in Africa today, like this this tribe problem, you see. So all that also is in the mindset. Because we have been divided by part, even not country. Like I can give you just a very quick, you know, elaborating about like in West Africa. I can say like our country there, or in the West, like from Gambia example, Gambia, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, even from Sierra Leone, Conto, Guinea-Conakry. Example, all that before it was just one forest. Was one forest. You cannot go anywhere. Someone asks you, you are from Guinea, Conakry, from Sierra Leone, you have Gambia. But because of the colonial, they come of this forest, they cut it and they part it, and then the time now we can be today to say, you see Senegalese, you are from Senegal, or you are from Guinea-Bissau, or you are from Gambia. Example. And all Africa I'm talking about, but I just give you for example. So then we are there fighting. You go from Gambia to Senegal, they're asking you, well, this person of Gambia, you see. So example now is that to change that mindset of thinking. So these borders they have been put in, that is to divide us. That is the way to weak somebody. So it's this kind of borders we have to take it away. We have to, because it was not there before. Someone putting it for us. And we have to rid of with that. But still, as we say, it's the mindset. But now, before I talk too much here, it's not only me here, but now that's why we are here, to give opinion and idea to each other, and we have to discuss this. Can also our discussion and our opinion, giving our opinion, other people also can learn, because that's the whole about. It's we are trying to wake each other. So let me just stop there, because I'm not only one here. So, but I thank you very much. You are coming here. I'm so happy for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Musa. Eduardo?
No.
Zaina? You want to take it in Swedish?
Or in Spanish.
You can take it in Swedish or Spanish. Or
No, it
Swedish,
doesn't matter.
we can translate for you.
Okej.
Mm.
Jag tycker det här med mental kolonisering som finns, det som han pratade om, de har delat ut folket i Västafrika eller hela Afrika. Ja. Är det en bit på som vi måste jobba för att komma ihop att det är samma folk. De här människor, de här olika folket, sen Mandingas, Shanti, Bolos, de har levt alltid tillsammans i flera tusen år, till européerna har kommit dit och delat olika länder.
Tror du?
Okay, so Eduardo is saying that what Musa talked about, this thing about the division that the Europeans have imposed on us with West Africa and all other countries, so really is really something important and something that we need to address. So that's it.
De delade ut samma människor som har levt i tusentals år.
So the fact that they divided people who have cohabited with each other for thousands of years.
Till exempel mellan den som han pratar om, man är från Senegal, de har lurat när de är fram, och de som är från Gambia eller från Ghana är engelsmannen. Det är samma folk, samma bröderskap, samma familj.
So for example, the fact that the Europeans managed to trick the people living in current Senegal that there are another people, or there are different people compared to the people living in Sierra Leone and Gambia, for example, it's all a lie, because they are a part of the same people, like the
Mandingas,
Shanti,
Bolos,
Wolves, and
vad heter det?
Fulani.
and Fulanis, and so they all make, they're all a part of the same people, and they cohabited before the Europeans came there and made their divisions, convincing them that okay, you are French and you are English.
Det är folket som har levt i tusentals år tillsammans. Så det fanns inte den där gränsen. De är delade nu i 15 olika länder i Västafrika.
So those borders didn't exist before. I mean, they lived together for thousands of years, and now all of a sudden that whole region is divided in 50 different countries.
Det är faktorer att de har också lurat folk att de är fattiga. Ja? Att de är fattiga på olika grejer och de har folket är hela den här regionen är de mest rikaste i världen.
The fact that they've fooled people into believing that they are poor people when in fact they're actually rich people. They live in one of the richest areas of the world.
Så de lurar oss att tro att Europa är den rikaste delen.
So they fooled us to believe that Europe is actually the rich, the richer part of the world, when in reality Africa is actually the richest, one of the richest areas of the world.
De lurar oss för att kunna dra ut alla våra rikedomar till dem.
So they fool.
Och det är en annan sak jag säger, problemen i Afrika idag, många tror att det är överbefolkning. När det är en real överbefolkning finns i Europa. Därför den yta som Europa har är en tredjedel av Afrika, kontinenten.
Vad var det första du sa?
Att de lurar oss att vi är överbefolkade, att vi har för många barn. Ja. Att, men i verkligheten är det tvärtom.
So they fool us into believing that we're overpopulated, we have too many kids and so on, but the fact is that it's actually Europe who's overpopulated, because if you look at the total area of the European countries, it's the equivalent of I think Nigeria, and so in comparison Africa is actually far from being overpopulated.
Europa har 500 miljoner invånare. I Afrika, det enda land som är lika större som Europa kan vara Nigeria eller Kongo. De är stora ytorna med så lite befolkning.
So Europe has about 500 million inhabitants, and the countries in Africa that are comparable in terms of sizes are Nigeria or Congo, and they don't even have I think they have a fifth or something of the European population.
Det är det som vi måste börja diskutera och komma fram till. Vad är det mentalkolonialismen, så hur de lurar oss?
Yeah, so that's why that is what we need to discuss. What we need to understand. What is the mental slavery? What is it that they fooled us into believing? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Mental slavery for me has come down to understanding how the colonizers and the West has come to impose their view on me and their way of thinking and their way of defining who I am and who they are. And how basically they've imposed various things on me, both on physical level, on spiritual level, on the psychological level, and through that then starting the journey back to really who I am. And part of that is also understanding how they've affected my ancestors and how that, how would you say that, how,
Influence.
how that has influenced, how that started influencing my ancestors and how it's still influencing me today. And through that understanding also coming to give back, the knowledge that I've acquired to my people in order to break this cycle of mental slavery. I don't want to be another one of those persons, transmitting the mental slavery to the next generation. I kind of want it to stop with me. Yeah, that's mental slavery for me.
First of all, I want to say, it is really nice to see all of you here, because I remember when me and Musa started this, we were always thinking I hope this is gonna be bigger, you know what I mean? And now, in God's grace, you know, it's happening, you know, so it really means a lot to see people like us here. And this is what we're talking about, unity, uniting. We are from different countries, but we are here together, doing this together. So, I mean, it shows us, you know, we're showing the way, like, this is how our people need to do, to come together, work together, and build together, and grow together. Because this is what unity is all about, because somebody have to start somewhere, you know what I mean? Because we don't have nobody doing things like this. Me and Musa used to always talk about this all the time. So it really means a lot when we're doing things like that. Maybe we might not understand it now, but people in years to come, you know, this is helping our young generation to keep on the struggle, because our struggle is really not finished. You know, if we're thinking that because we're living in Europe or other countries, and we have the master's wealth, we're living under the master's wealth, so we feel like we're better in Africa. I mean, it's like, you know, we really have to see this like, you know, our struggle is you know, it's a lot to deal with. So, and our people too is suppressed under, you know, under the enemy. So we the young generation, we as a people have to show the way, like, you know, we should wake our people mind. We are the ones who have to open the gateway, because if we never start, nobody's gonna start. Because the problem is, we used to always thinking that a savior is gonna help us. But how can a savior help us if nobody stopped nothing? You know what I mean? So that is just like when we're talking about Jesus, you know what I mean? Somebody have to, you know, Jesus come, he did it, he showed us. Somebody have to start something. He started something, so he has to go on. You know, but if we keep on waiting for a savior and we never start act, we will never go nowhere. So this is like coming together like this. It's open, it's showing us how we as a people to unite and come together and work together. That's what I really believe is really powerful. So our people to really start to do this together and work together means a lot.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. How can we top this one? Anyway, thank you for having me. This is my first time in this platform. So is it for many of us. But really, when I listen to each one of you coming up with your own ideas and how mental slavery have influenced you people, then I start thinking it's one thing to be trapped in somebody's ideology of how they think that I should respond to different things. As we say, we all have, I might say, two cultures. We have, because we're living in Europe, we have the Westerners' culture, and then we have our own culture, whereby if you are not careful, the way the Western culture is influencing us can make us to diminish our own culture or look down on our own culture. And some of us are parents. What are we teaching our children? Before we teach somebody something, we ourselves have to understand what we're passing to the next generation. I think that's why this platform is so important. That the way you look at things might not be the way I'm looking at things, but there's no monopoly in the knowledge that we share. Because I might have been thinking one way, I'm stuck in that way, because that's what I've learned. And then you say something, and then it's like, aha, is this the way it's really supposed to be? And then it will wake up a thought in me that, okay, I've heard this, I've learned this, this is the way I used to act. Now let me put them together. Is my way the best way? Or is your way the best way? Or is his way? How do I help to put these things together? So when I'm talking to the next generation, I'm passing knowledge, not the same maybe nonsense or stupidity that have been kind of like, well, I can't say brainwashed with. but that have been affecting me. So when I listen to Papa G, I pick up one thing. I listen to Musa, I pick up another thing. I listen to you, I pick up another thing. It's like that in the group. So, but what I want to say is changing mindset. We have been stuck in the same thinking, in the same thoughts. It's about time we start thinking deeper. Not only what we have been taught, but we will use it to go deeper and search our hearts. Are we going to break the chains? Ask yourself, am I going to break the chains? Or am I still going to be under this bondage? What am I teaching the next generation? I might not have a child, but what am I passing on to the next generation? So I want to say to all the viewers, thank you very much for having us. Join us, really, make comments. You can also add to it by writing. Yeah, so that we know what you're thinking about.
It was 1885 that Europe sat at the conference of Nicaea.
Nice.
And they divided Africa
Yes.
like a cake on a table.
Mm-hmm.
France eat this one. Portugal eat this one. Great Britain eat this one. And then it was 1441 that the great Sir Henry V of Portugal took a voyage to create the Atlantic slave trade. Why? Because of the sugar, lack of sugar, coffee, and the like. And then it was 600 AD when the Arab came in with their division. And the impact all these intrusions have had on Africa, the African is still living it. Our natural resources have been divided as well and stolen. Our people have been divided. Our cultures have been disrespected. Until today, the reason for us Africans to migrate, migration is actually the phenomena of the human element. We human beings are migratory. That has nothing to do with that. But the vast migration of today is because of confusion, pain, hunger, and the domination of other cultures, where we Africans feel confused of our traditional ways that we're used to, and that is without even currency. The African has been used to bartering. We share. I have rice, Musa have couscous. I come to Musa with my couscous. Musa gives me the rice. But in that interchanging, we have the family ties of the collectiveness of us as family. We converse, we talk about the kids, we talk about the family, and we hear the pain of the other one, and we support so that the pain is eased. From this era, with the infliction of pain and diseases, I believe now is the time for the African not to look at the past with pain, instead for us to see how we can be one. And I believe in that way or that path, we need first to know ourselves individually.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, we are mentally being enslaved. We have been put on the pain. We have been divided and ruled. But we as individuals have ourselves to develop first. And the way to develop ourselves, we have religion. But before religion, I believe we have something else that has to do with developing ourselves, and that is our ancient spirituality that has been tramped on by religion. For us to develop ourselves, I believe we have to try, after knowing each other, to educate ourselves of our past knowledge, of our past system of belief, which all other religions, all other societies imitated and got something from. In this process, I believe the collectivity of the African mind, which all other societies have, the individualistic mind, we need to bring back that collectivity of the African, to stand together. For us to stand together, it is to develop the self first, and not the blame game of the past of the African. But the resources we have in Africa, there is no other continent that has it. Why not we look deep within what we have, start creating ways and means of producing, that is production, ways and means of understanding what natural resources we have, and to create a system of understanding what to do with that production for development.
Round up.
With that, I feel the African still have a beautiful stand in the world of today by supporting and cooperating and fight against something that is the main disease of Africa, that is corruption.
Corruption.
If we can try to not follow our leaders, what they have been doing, they have just been leading us into individuality and individual position, but instead turn that into collective position, and also learning who we are. I believe Africa is a continent that is equal to none in this world, and the Africans, we are kings and queens that we can bring back to us Africans with the unity and the understanding of who we are.
That's
Yes.
true. Yeah.
Denisius, can you talk that more for us? We want to know about corruption in what is saying.
Can I pass on that question?
No,
What is it to say about corruption? Like my
Yeah.
view,
Yeah.
okay, so my view of corruption is, I keep thinking of this book with Ngugi wa Thiong'o, which I read like a couple of weeks ago. It's actually called Decolonizing the Mind. And so this corruption that exists now, for me, it's something that is tied to what he calls the petty bourgeoisie. So-called elites that have existed in Africa as a middle hand between the colonized